Coming to you live. The baddest radio TV talk show around.
My better. We got everything politics on the screen. We got everything media, TV, the stream. We got everything politics on the screen. My better. Follow my better. Introducing your host and co-host.
2020, and it's Tuesday, and it's time for our live broadcast. Better have Kevin and Cassiva. I'm your host, Kevin.
I'm your girl, Cassiva.
And you're going to have a great show tonight.
We are unplugged.
We're unplugged. And we're going to have a great show tonight. And we have a expert with us. Today, we have been following the Hurricane Laura, which is slowly approaching the coast of Texas. And if you've ever been in a hurricane, you know what I'm talking about. So we brought somebody in to help us battle through what may potentially be catastrophic to some folk. So we're going to give you some information tonight that will help you with probably some things you didn't know on how to get through this kind of situation. So,
and then hopefully after that, we'll be able to take you home with some soothing music for your soul, because everybody needs something this time.
We have a double dose tonight, and we're going to introduce the guest that we have tonight. He is
none other than the president of the National Justice Services, Mr. Curtis Hordge Jr.
And welcome to our show. How you doing, Curtis?
How y'all doing? Doing great. Good to see you guys, Kevin, Cassiva. Great to be on the show.
You too. I'm glad, it's looking nice outside right now compared to what it's going to be like tomorrow.
Gotta enjoy while we can, right?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, we brought you back. We have some history with you, and this is the peak of hurricane season. We didn't have that many this year, but all we need is one.
That's right.
And it changes the lives of people. So we wanted to make sure that we gave them the information that they needed to get through this, potentially if it happens or if, it's as bad as they think it's going to be.
And I pray that it's not a tornado going to stand up off of that, because you know what I'm going to do, right, Curtis?
Yeah. You're calling me.
I'm going to take off running. I keep my bags packed already.
Exactly. It's years ago. Most people probably don't know that. Some of your people know that's been some of your guests for a long time know that when you had your home destroyed by a tornado, that we was able to help you out with your claim process and make sure you get everything that the insurance company owed you. And it was a pleasure working with you guys. You guys have been friends ever since then, and I love the show, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Right.
We wanted to share our experience with our listening audience because it's something that we went through. And I remember that day when you walked up on our property. We were skeptical, and because everybody was out, there was contractors, there were people coming in, insurance agents, everybody was trying to get their hands in the cookie jar. And you walked up to me, and we had an honest talk. And after that, I didn't have a worry during that whole time because you coached us all the way through it.
Right. And it was a pleasure. Like I said, I have a passion for helping people with these insurance claims, their property claims. We do all types of claims: fire, water, wind, hail. We do it all, residential and commercial. As you know, I've been doing this about 20 years and second generation. And I still have a love for just helping people know what they need to know.
Right. And see, during that time, I was so confident, man, we put a sign on our house. But I want people to know, tell them what is a public adjuster.
A public adjuster is a licensed and bonded adjuster that works exclusively for the property owner. We don't work for insurance companies. We're hired by the property owner to assist them with their property claim and coach them through the process of what they need to know during the claim process. The insurance company adjuster represents the company. We represent you. We know policy, we know estimating and documenting claims, and we help you actually prove your claim to the insurance company to maximize your loss. And we have the power, exclusive power, only us and an attorney can do what we do, and that is negotiate your claim.
Right.
You negotiate with the insurance company.
Mhm. And that's what happens a lot of times during that type of period. You know, your uncle shows up, you know, to guide you through. All your contractor shows
Right.
up, tells you, and they tell you how to finagle your way through. And just like what you just said, you know, they're not authorized by the state of Texas.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people don't know that in the state of Texas, there is no license for contractors. There's no license for roofers. Anybody can be one. And that is, you know, Texas has been known like there's 5,500 contractors in the state of Texas. And so they all try to do what I do, but legally they're not able to. We are licensed and funded by the Texas Department of Insurance to do what we do. And the license we have is very, very hard to get. It's not a regular adjuster's license. A lot of people say, hey, I just got my adjuster license. Can I work with you? Like, no, that license just works for insurance companies as an independent adjuster. That's a guy that works for multiple insurance companies, or a staff adjuster that works for State Farm directly or Allstate directly, whatever. But we're public adjusters. We work for the people. So I deal with all insurance companies, but I'm working for the property owner.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know that you mostly do a lot of fires though, because that's where you started out at. You're a second generation public adjuster, and your father started it back in 1969.
Right.
So I know you do a lot of fires, and I've been looking at a lot of fires going on. I think that's in California somewhere out that way. So
yeah, those are the brush fires. Yeah.
yeah, and I know it's a difference in how you handle claims with fire and how you handle with the hurricanes and tornadoes. So let's talk about first, since Hurricane Laura is coming here tomorrow. Let's talk about for those who might encounter that hurricane, what steps should they take?
Okay.
If they happen to have any destruction.
Okay, first off, two different types of, well, maybe three. Some very few insurance.
Okay, we lost
Every flood, very few.
He's back. He's outside.
Okay.
So, you know, he'll be back.
I said that was some good reception here. I'm like, okay, yeah. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I say very few companies handle flood claims. Most homeowners policy does not cover flood. They cover wind, fire, water, stuff like that, but they don't cover flood. Flood is normally through the National Flood Association, and that's FEMA. Really, it's the government, you know. And for hurricanes, you're going to be dealing with one or the other. You're going to deal with national flood if you get a flood in your house or property, and you're going to deal with TWIA, which is the Texas Wind Insurance Association, and that's a combination of all the insurance companies coming together, and they all pay a certain amount into this pot, and that's what pays for all your hurricane damage from the wind. And the question is going to be, normally, is what caused your loss? Did the flood cause your loss? That's flood. Did the wind cause your loss? So if your roof go up, of course it's wind. But if your water wet on the bottom, that's flood. And there's always a conflict of interest about what caused first. If your house was completely blown off, God forbid, off the face of the earth, the national flood and TWIA will be arguing over what actually caused the damage. Did the flood take your house away, or did the wind do it? And so they have a lot of engineers come in and try to debate that, and that's going to be a problem. But for the property owners, I think the greatest thing they can do is document their belongings. Take photos. Before you leave that property, if you're going to leave and come upstate and stay with relatives or whatever, take pictures of every room, get everything you can, open every cabinet, and just take pictures of everything you're leaving behind, and the stuff you have with you. Of course, you got that, but inside your sheds, inside your closets, inside your any type of receipt you use for temporary repairs to board your house up to protect it from further damage. That stuff's important. Keep the receipts, and those type of things will help you prove your claim down the line.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But explain the difference between damaged and destroyed, because in hurricane, you may have a flood and your things will get wet. You may have water 6 feet deep in your house, and some things get damaged. But in a hurricane, it can come through and destroy a thing, and it'll leave a sign that it was nothing there.
Right. total loss. I mean, and a lot of people think it's funny. I ran into a lot of people through the years that think that it's their first time having a claim. When they have a claim, they say, "Well, look at my policy. I got 100,000 on my house. I got 50,000 on contents. So I had a claim. I'm getting all of that." It doesn't work like that. That money has to be for how much damage that you incurred. So you got to decide. You have to have someone help you like me to come in and determine how much of that 100,000 you were able to get based on the damage that incurred. How much contents are you able to replace? What it costs to replace that contents? What it costs to get your property properly repaired? That's what you have to know.
Mhm.
And so damage is just you have some damage that can be repaired. Destroyed means it's a total loss. That means like even with that, in tornado situations and hurricane situations, you still have to put a tape measure to it or whatever and calculate what was actually inside the house, the brick, the sheetrock, the studs, the paint, the cabinets, the doors, everything got to be calculated what it costs your place to come to a number. You just don't get the face amount of the policy like that on your policy. It still got to be documented and calculated.
Right.
And personal property is the hardest thing to deal with because Texas has what they call a liquidated demand clause, which means if your house is destroyed by fire, then they'll give you the face amount of the policy. Now, it doesn't count for tornadoes, only for fire. But the contents still got to be put together. You still got to write that contents up to get the money. Ain't that something?
Mhm.
Your house is like this by fire. They'll pay you the face amount of the policy on the fire loss for the property, but not the personal property. That's got to be documented.
Wow.
And in hurricane situation, you got to be careful because I worked in hurricanes a lot and know eventually when houses flood on the street and you go down the street and everybody putting all their stuff out, they're breaking out the sheetrock, they're going 4 foot up, they're putting all their debris in the front of the house, and the city say, "Hey, we're gonna come in, we're gonna take all this debris and pick it up on a certain date." You got to have everything out there, but your adjuster's coming out to document your damage, and so people are saying, "Hey, well, that flat screen TV that's next door, they're gonna put that in my pile and say it was mine." And the insurance company said, "Well, you gotta prove your claim." So a lot of that was going on. People was claiming stuff that weren't theirs and trying to get more money and all that kind of stuff. And so you just got to be careful. That's why I say photo everything. You can't take enough photos.
Right. And see, the other thing, when we met, one thing that crossed my mind was that life goes on.
Yes.
Because it ripped a path through here, but there were other people on the next street that didn't get touched.
Exactly.
The next day, where my life was in shambles, some other people's lives were normal. They were just going to work.
Exactly.
Watching my house.
Right.
So my question that was in my mind when I met you is, how can you help me? Because you said you're public. Well, how can you help me? Because I knew in the back of my mind I had to go to work, and I had to leave my wife to do all the details. She was frustrated. She called you a million times, but
yeah, I know,
because she was frustrated. And a lot of times people don't think that, because if you're rebuilding and you got to handle the insurance company, you got to handle the contractor, you got to handle getting your money on time and all of that.
Right.
It's like walking into a court on a murder charge with no lawyer.
Exactly. And I'll say this: the insurance companies are skillful and in taking advantage of what you don't know. And so if you don't know, you don't get it. That's the way it is. So having a public adjuster, a skillful public adjuster, is good to have, because we know how to put your claim together. We know how to document your claim, present your claim, and negotiate your claim to make sure you get everything you owe to put your life back together. And also with things like additional living expenses or loss of use coverage, pay for your place to stay, rent of furniture, make sure.
So one thing, how do I line up my policy with my disaster?
How do you line up your policy with your disaster? I mean,
because we don't look at our policies till the time something happens.
And at that time, you just have to accept what you already have. Your policy is not going to. It's documented from the date of loss under that coverage period. A lot of times people don't have the coverage they thought they had, right, or they have things that they didn't know they had. You know what I'm saying? So we're able to capitalize on that. But the main thing is, I try to manage your expectations. I know you want to make sure you're getting back into your house rebuilt, your family's back together where y'all need to be. And so from the time that you have a loss to the time that you're back in your house, is a long process. And I want to make sure that you're not doing anything to jeopardize your claim that's going to hinder you from being whole in the end. That's what we do.
Right. And that's good.
Go ahead.
And that's why we're talking about this, ahead of time, because
Right.
you can't magically change your policy. A lot of times, if you have insurance, you had it over 10 years, things have appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then in a disaster, they start to overcharge.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
Stuff. So you may have a policy that says that, you got $200,000 to build your house, but like in anything, they capitalize.
Right.
When it's a hurricane, water that used to be $1 is $5 now.
Like now with COVID being around, lumber has gone up because people are buying houses in this pandemic. I guess they realize they can't live together in an apartment no more, so they buying a lot of houses right
You're
now.
right. You're right.
Yeah. So lumber is going up, bricks going up, and houses that might have been $200,000 or $400,000 now.
It's
So
exactly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you had told us that, hey, it's always good to go back and check your policy before things like this happen.
Right.
So
Right.
how do you think they should check their policy?
I would say every quarter. I mean, especially every year when you get a renewal, you definitely want to look at it, review it very well when you get a renewal, because a lot of times the insurance company will slip things in the back of the policy that override the declaration page. Those are called endorsements or exclusions, and that's a whole nother story on that. So y'all know, I have to give me a radio show to tell people about this kind of stuff. You need to know.
Yeah.
So y'all gonna help me do that,
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. But basically, your policy, you need to know about your declaration page, how much coverage you have. Now, when a loss happens where it's a catastrophe situation like a hurricane or tornado, supply and demand is going to go up on all your material and labor and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we calculate that inside our estimates to present to the insurance company, because that changes every 30 days. That's when we do another cycle of what's the labor going for, what's the material going for. So that's in our estimates and it's calculated. Plus any type of code upgrades, anything the city they will require you to do that you didn't have, we make sure that's calculated as well. So having a public adjuster to read through your policy and make sure you take advantage of the benefits on your policy and maximize your policy for your situation, that's what we try to do, and make sure it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing is, what we learned here on this street is that you may have good intentions, you may assume you know everything,
mm-hmm.
but there were houses on this street that people didn't get built till 3 years later.
Wow.
Because they were in litigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were in court. They said, I'm gonna go get a lawyer.
I know it.
And now the lawyer owns the house.
Yeah. Or a big portion of money.
Some of them had them tricking them out their house. Like, I don't know how this worked, but this one guy was saying that he went and he sold his house to the builder. And the builder, because he didn't have enough money in his policy to build his home back. Mm-hmm. So the builder said that he would build it back for him, but he would still own the house, but he would be buying it back from him. That don't work.
I know. And so that's the thing, I think having the right amount of coverage, I mean, the housing market got pretty heavy here before all this happened, before COVID happened. It was really overrated. But I think you need to have at least a medium amount of money in your policy to rebuild your house, and don't never go low. And I think I know the guy you're talking. He lived across the street from you guys, isn't it, something like that?
No, three houses down.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he was in your area. I think I heard about that. I think he called us to help him, but he didn't have enough coverage. You're going to get all this anyway. Then we can do. We can't get more than your policy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
and then a lot of people don't know that you guys are very helpful to the fact that when you're hit by a catastrophic event, then when you start trying to figure out what you have in your home and things like that, for the insurance people, you don't know that you can count a hairpin or a paper clip, a penny on the floor. I mean, it was just awesome the way you guys had done that, because we definitely would have thought about a fork on the floor and an ink pen. We would have just walked all over there and say, we're not counting that, but you guys counted everything in this house.
We're very thorough. Everything in your house has a dollar amount tacked to it. whether it's structural, whether it's personal property. If you bought it, at one time, it's worth putting it down to replace it. No matter how big, no matter how small. A lot of times we can lump a lot of stuff together, but sometimes insurance companies want to really just, us to put it together and, we want to see how many it was. Don't say one lot of or one assorted of this. How many was it? Okay, we'll put it down and we'll take the picture and show them. So it's all about proving your claim. See, the burden of proof is on you guys, but proving a claim can be very difficult. Right. So we know how to prove claims. We came in to prove your claim. And remember, State Farm came out there and it was like, within a few hours talking to them, we was pretty in a pretty good position. You know what I mean? Right.
Well, that's another thing, and also about the extension on their policy when it comes to finding them somewhere to live. Yes. A lot of times people think that they have to go and get their own hotel, or they can't go get into another house, but they don't realize that the insurance pay for all of that on their policy. Yeah. So explain that to them.
Well, that's called loss of use coverage. You lost the use of your home. So they're going to pay for you a place to stay while your home is being restored. And people want that. I mean, I think everybody need to check their policy in that area and make sure at least you're able to, that's enough money in that loss of use column to stay out of your house at least a year.
Right, especially in the pandemic.
Yes.
There's a pandemic going on, and a lot of people, because the event, catches them off guard, especially tornadoes, but it catches them off guard. A lot of people just left their house and went and stayed with their aunt and booked in there. When they didn't know that they had money allocated for them to go and stay really in a hotel, or they went to a shelter or a church.
And really, Mike, the truth is, even if they stay with an aunt, that aunt can get paid for them staying there. I got 4 in my household. If my friend have a loss and he want to bring his kids and family to my house, I mean, I got to charge him for that. I got more water, more gas, electrical. So they will give you a reasonable amount, you know what I'm saying? They'll make a deal with me to say, okay, they're staying with me while the house being restored. I'm charging such and such. And, so they'll do that. That money's is paid on a reimbursement basis. Only the receipts, through hotel receipts, food receipts. They pay for extra mileage while you drive around extra places. They pay for rental furniture, stuff like that. You still got to pay your mortgage. Still got to pay your mortgage. Your house is burned. You got to pay that mortgage. But they're paying for your rental property and whatever in case to get you back to some kind of normalcy. We call it additional living expenses. That's what it's called.
Oh, that's another thing too. Like a lot of, I don't know if people know this, that if you in a catastrophic and you don't pay that mortgage, when you rebuild, I don't know that part about when you rebuild that your mortgage might be going up, but I know for a fact that if you continue to pay your mortgage while you are out of your home, you can build a $400,000 house and your mortgage will still be the same.
Exactly. And that's kind of, I think you guys had took advantage of that. Yeah, but some, I noticed that some mortgage companies were trying to
I know for a fact that
finance it, right?
Housing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the SBA hit the neighborhood. They want to give everybody a loan. Kind of like in this COVID situation, they want to give everybody a loan. And as soon as everything go bad, they want to give a loan. Like, come on. But everybody want to take advantage of, while you're down. So, but my thing is, I love what I do, what I'm saying, and it helps people. We charge a small percentage on the claim, nothing out of the insurer's pocket. It's all out of the claim. Right. And we normally increase claims anywhere from 30 to 50%. So it's unbelievable the kind of money people leave on the table because they don't know.
Right. They leave money on the table. See, the difference is people see those zeros on their policy, and they see the personal, how much they allotted for personal damage, and then structural damage. And sometimes when you get into it, because of the deductible, you start having to, rob Peter to pay Paul. Because a lot of times when you try to estimate what is in your house, it far exceeds. I don't think anybody has enough coverage for personal. Because if you had it 10 years, it far exceeds that.
It's rare. Some people do.
Your clothes, just right. Can gut that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everything's depreciated, and depreciation is taking away the life expectancy. Let's say if you had a TV and you paid $500 for it, and you had it 5 years. So they said, well, TVs last, 7 to 9 years, 10 years for a TV. So they may give you $250 for the TV up front. And then on replacement cost policies, when you go out and buy that TV for $500 and you turn in that receipt for the $500, they give you the $250 they held back on it. So everything in your house is depreciated. Everything, even the structure is depreciated. Insurance companies never pay the replacement costs up front. They always give you the appreciated amount. And there you have go through a process to get the holdback or the depreciation withheld. They call it betterment withheld in the end. Some policies, I know some fires, Allstate did some stuff, but they started paying. They'll take the depreciation out, but they go ahead and just pay it, never held it back. But that was only on structure, not on contents. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, so the depreciation, a lot of people don't know about that, but that is something you have to deal with. Because if you got $70,000 worth of stuff in your house, or that means you got $70,000 in your policy, and then you write up $70,000 worth of contents, then they depreciate. You may get $46,000 up front. Right. And they're holding back the rest. So you go back and replace all those items. Now, who goes back and replace all those items?
Yeah.
So that's where you end up saving that money. You're not getting it.
Yeah, we went to Walmart, man, and we was in there for 30 minutes replacing pots, and we almost went through $1,000.
I know. I mean, so. But that's a part of it. Depreciation is a part of it. The deductible, and that's your portion to pay. You know what I'm saying? The way they do it on large losses like you guys said, your loss was your deductible was absorbed because you had more loss than you had coverage. You know what I'm saying? And that way your deductible get absorbed. You had to pay a deductible. So we did get all your money without you actually paying a deductible, really. But the deductible is pretty much taken out of the, you know, but still. Did y'all lose me again?
Yeah. Well, you were talking about your deductible, right. Because a lot of times they will issue a policy and you want your payment to be low. See?
Right.
And because it's a low payment, you don't look at the deductible. Well, you think nothing's going to happen anyway. You know, it's going to probably 100 years, this won't happen. But then, because you've been paying that insurance premium and it's low, you know, because your deductible is low. A high deductible, you'll pay a lower premium, but a low deductible, you're gonna pay for that. They're gonna get you. It's a seesaw. They're gonna get you. You know.
Exactly. I said you're gonna get either way. You can save on your premium, get a lower premium when you're paying monthly, but then when you have a claim, you're gonna pay for it and not get what you're supposed to get on your claim because your policy don't have the benefits you think you have or you want to have at that time you have a major loss. And the thing about it is insurance companies, they have two different types of policies. There's an actual cash value policy, which means you only get the depreciated amount of what your loss is. You know, once the money they held back is not recoverable. So whatever the depreciated amount is in your structure, your contents, is all you're getting. Then there's replacement cost policies. They give you the appreciated amount up front, but then the holdback money is recoverable once you present the documentation. So, you want replacement costs. And I had a lady call me on a roof claim out in Rowlett just the other day, and she was saying, she sent me her estimate, I looked at it, and I noticed a few things that she could ask for, but I noticed that she had $7,000 that was non-recoverable because she had an actual cash value policy, and I just couldn't do anything about that. I mean, that's the policy. So she wasn't happy about it, but that's what you want to do. Make sure you have replacement costs. That's very important.
Right. Yeah. You know, at one time, we had a hail problem. Because there's something about Texas weather is changing. Yeah. We get some heat and a cold front comes through, we fixing to have something. And so I know that a few years ago in Wiley, they had like a hailstorm.
Historical hail.
Yeah.
Baseball size hail. Right. Went through people's roofs, through their roof, through the decking, and landed in living rooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Like missiles.
That was massive.
So when you have change in weather like that, I know sometimes that the insurance company go to the board and say, okay, we need to do something about this. Because at one time they were having hurricanes in Houston in the summertime, because it's in the summertime, and before they could get around everybody, then it started molding.
Wow.
And they wasn't covering molding.
Yeah, and mold sets in within 72 hours of moisture. Mold is everywhere. We know that. If you leave bread open for a few hours, it can turn moldy. So, mold is everywhere, but you got to have three sources. You got to have something to eat. It's got to have moisture, and it's got to have air. You know what I'm saying? So if you got water and you got a sheetrock, and within 72 hours, you're probably going to start seeing growth or mold. And you don't even want to say mold to your insurance company because there's caps on that thing so bad on those policies. Most policies cap mold about 5,000. So you want to say maybe like water damage, or you want to say growth, don't use mold.
You know, I'll tell you one advantage we got. You know, I tell the audience one advantage we got with you, because there were a line of houses, and people look for sometimes FEMA to come in and kick in like a supplement policy. And there were a line of houses that were damaged. They were coming down the road. They wasn't talking to anybody. They just walked straight down the road and said and put a red tag on this house, a blue tag on this house, and a yellow tag on this house. And I was telling the insurance company, you know, we're not going to total this one out. This one here is repairable. You know, this one here has a light damage. And they had tried to do that, you know, to us. You know, our house got a big crack in the middle of it.
Oh, man.
We wanted to go up and assess it and say, and they were getting ready to say, yeah, we can do something with this. And no.
No.
So they do the same thing they do with cars. You know, they come out and estimate to see how much damage it is. And a lot of times they don't want to pay it off. And they go and try to fix it. And then the next thing you're doing, you're riding and say, what's that sound? Well, it's something they couldn't fix.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, I'll say this too, Kevin, people think that when they file a claim that their insurance is going up for their property. That doesn't work like that. Auto is not like a individual auto policy. If you file a claim on your car, your insurance may go up, or you go on your loss runs and you try to get some insurance. You had a wreck or whatever. But the way it works with property is based on zip codes. If hail comes across your neighborhood and hits that neighborhood, that insurance going up in that zip code because he got hit by hail, whether they file a claim or not. They may have damage, and they may not know they have damage. You know what I'm saying? But their insurance going up anyway. Because for the next, they got 2 years to backfile. They can file that claim a year and a half when they start seeing a leak or whatever, and that's really too late, you know, because a lot of times sometimes you can be outside your window of the pot. They'll fight you on date of loss. When did it happen? Or there's multiple storms. Sending engineers out to say, hey, well, you had a storm here, so we can't cover it, and they're walking away from it. So they're trying to find ways to, you know, get around if they can. But my thing is the way it works is when you file a claim, you know, it doesn't go up like an automobile. It just insurance goes up. It goes over the whole area, you know, and that's important to know. A lot of people, and I say this too, when to file a claim. You know, sometimes when people see a leak, oh, call my insurance company. No, don't do that, because anytime you have an adjuster comes out to look at your roof, they got to pay that adjuster. He got gas, he got time. So you filed a claim, and it may not be enough damage to total your roof. It may just be a repair job. Roof require maintenance. They require repair. You may have a shingle blow off. Okay, repair the shingle. But it have a local roofer or somebody come in and check your roof before you actually file a claim. You need to make sure you have the adequate damage. That's what we can sometimes come out and take a look at and give you an idea of if it's actually enough damage to call your insurance company and file a claim. Those guys that knock on your door and stuff like that, they'll have you file everything. You know what I'm saying? But they trying to just get, you know, they'll fight whatever they can fight. But my thing is, if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you do, you do. Right. And a lot of people don't know when they have a leak, it's not time to call your insurance. It's time for you to get somebody to check your roof and get the condition of what kind of condition it's in. And if it's really ready, somebody you trust, that it's really time for you to call it. In other words, you only call your insurance company when you know you have a total roof. They're not in the business to come out and check stuff. They're not in the business to come out and check stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not their job. Their job is to adjust and pay for what they owe. So when you have a leak and you know it's coming down, you're sealing, I got to call my insurance company. You think you need a new roof, but it's just maybe just a shingle off and you repair the shingle. So I mean, they come out there, your deductible is $3,000. You know, The damage is worth $200. It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. So it's a waste, and plus that goes against you as a claim filed. Right. Even though you didn't get anything out of it. Now, while they're out there, they're documenting, they're going through every room, looking at everything, all the damage you made, cracks, foundation, looking at all the stuff. And then they said, well, we got one slope that's damaged here. We'll go ahead and pay for that. But then when you look at your deductible, you don't get anything because it's $1,800 to repair the slope, and your deductible was $2,000. Mm-hmm. So you said, well, okay, they didn't pay me anything. So you don't do anything about it. 6 months go by, a year go by, the whole neighborhood get hit with hail. You call your insurance company. Of course, oh, you got plenty of hail up here. Yeah, we're going to pay for your roof. Oh, you didn't replace this slope right here, so we're going to take this out the claim. Yeah. They noted that was damage on a prior claim that you didn't fix. So now that's getting taken off your full claim. That's how that works.
Right.
You know, so in other words, if you don't reach your deductible, you're still responsible for fixing it.
Right.
And you know what? You're right, because that probably happened to, well, it did happen to that one of the other guys that was in the tornado, that prior to the tornado, they had called and had a roof claim put in, right? And so when the tornado hit and the adjuster came out, the first thing they asked him was, I thought we just paid you to get that roof fixed, and now you claiming it again on this claim. We're not gonna pay you for that. And then he was saying, well, the roof shifted. And it was like, I don't care if it shifted, it still looked like it's still intact.
You didn't repair it.
Just fix that. So he wound up losing his home because they couldn't afford to pay to get the house fixed.
Right.
So they still in litigation. They still tied up in litigations because they were fussing about the roof had just got a claim filed on it. And now you're coming back filing a second claim and you haven't even finished with the first claim.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay for it.
If you can, save up your deductible.
Yeah.
Because
good idea.
you know, it's
Good idea.
It's like a car. If you wreck your car and somebody dented the fender, you know, somebody dented the fender, you file for that. Your deductible is going to cost more than what it costs to fix the fender.
You're right.
And now you're not going to have enough money. You're still going to use that money. So try to save up enough for your deductible costs.
Exactly.
Then you don't have to necessarily file, because it's not, like I say, it's not a.
The state came out with a little deal here recently. I think it was about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, that it's against the law to, you know, for roofers and contractors to come out and try to say, well, I can save you your deductible. They can't do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's against the law. And they was using that as sales techniques and trying to get people's business, and it's against the law. You have to pay your deductible. I mean, there's no way around it. And some insurance companies, they won't prove that you paid your deductible. They want to see a canceled check that you paid your deductible before they give you the holdback money.
Right.
So it's all kind of stuff going on out here, man. But, you know, I understand their position on that, you know.
Yeah. We're going to take a break right quick, and they're going to come back. And we try to cram all this information in because
I know it's a lot, man.
So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 1 minute. Don't try to go anywhere. Hey, it's Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020.
On Facebook.
Hey, you know, everybody knows that we're in a pandemic and schizophrenic period of time. And it seems like everything is changing from hour to hour. So even though there's a civil unrest, there's still a pandemic problem lurking. And coming to you live from our home studio, you're listening to My Better Half. And you can check us out on...
Not a damn thing.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
I'm your host, Kevin.
And I'm your girl, Cassiva.
And this question is for both of you. Is it still, in today, the color of the skin, or is it the state of mind? Is racism the color of the skin, or is it the state of mind?
Since I gave that long.
Yeah, I was going to ask Doug.
Go ahead.
Well, it is.
And you know, in the 60s.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Right around, I guess, the late 60s, we had to Hey, we're back, man. We're having a great time with Curtis Hodges and teaching us about the insurance and how to prepare yourself, especially for a hurricane or a disaster. And we have our second guest with us also.
And don't forget, you guys are watching Better Have Kevin Conceiver Unplugged.
Yes, we're unplugged. But like I say, we have a good time, man, with Curtis, and we're gonna have our next guest on, and he's also a Dallas
Recording
native.
gospel
Mhm.
artist. And he's up and coming. And you guys, he have a very soothing voice. And you know, it's something that you need right about now, especially with the pandemic. And now they're talking about all these hurricanes coming and things like that. I need a word from the Lord right about now.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, we're going to introduce Mr. Eric Dickerson. Hi, Eric.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
You too.
So, you know, people, well, I don't know if people know your story, but we're going to tell them a little bit about your story. And because, you know, we know you've been singing for 13 years now, but there was a reason why you started singing gospel. So would you like to share with them why you started singing gospel?
Yes, I do. So, at an early age, at the age of 8, I was hit by a car, and I went through some things in the hospital. They didn't know if I was going to make it, but God kept me here for a reason. And my whole life growing up, I felt like I was different. I had a purpose. So I found out I could sing at 15. I started singing R&B, but something didn't seem right. It took me longer to write music. So I took a break from music, and then I said, I like to listen to gospel music. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try gospel. So I started doing gospel, and then I realized that making music became easy. There was no need to write it because I already experienced it, and all I was doing was telling my story.
And
So so I decided, I love R&B, but I love God more. So I said, okay, I'll bring R&B and integrate it with God and create a new sound.
so tell me a little bit about your story as to why you started singing gospel, because tell me about the accident you had.
So I got hit by a car when I was in a go-kart, and I had broken bones. They had to revive me, and I spent almost the rest of that school year from August to December in the hospital. And I had a lot of surgeries on my leg. They had to stop the bleeding. I was in a coma, and it was just God there the whole time with me. And he helped me through it, and he watched over me and guided me. So I felt like growing up, I could never do anything wrong because I had a conscience, and it was like it was God there telling me that, I'm wrong. And I'm one of those people who fear God above all men. So yeah, I had to, get my life together and do for him what he had planned for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the accident, did you think that you were going to be a recording artist?
No, I was into sports. I used to sing around the house, but I couldn't sing then. I don't know. Yeah, I was the one kid that everybody was telling to be quiet all the time because I thought I was a singer though. I did.
And something changed after the accident. Then it's like your voice changed.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, I wouldn't say that it changed. I would say more that I found it.
Mhm.
So God has a purpose for everybody in life. And I like to say there's a time and a place for everything. So it wasn't my time nor that place for me to sing. So
Mhm.
when I turned 15, I graduated high school at 16. So when I started singing, then I started noticing that my voice was changing. I can hold a note, and then I just took it from there. They said practice makes perfect. So I just kept practicing. I never gave up, and then here we are today.
And I know that you tried out for American Got Talent and things like that. Are you gonna try out for any more music shows or anything like that?
So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to America's Got Talent next year. I made it past all 3 rounds this year. I got my emails, and then COVID-19 popped up,
Oh yeah.
Oh
and that
man.
changed everything because they can
Wow.
only take so many.
Right.
But I'm gonna go back next year. I don't ever give up on my dreams, and that was one of them.
Mhm.
It wasn't so much as for to try to get a record label deal. It was so much as for I mean, my purpose was to show people my gift and tell them about God.
So then, why don't you try out for Sunday's Best? Since your talent is singing gospel, why don't you try? I was watching them the other day, and I was like, oh, Eric should have tried out for that. So why don't you do that one?
I'm gonna look into a couple of them because I like the voice too. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
look into Sunday's Best. I'm gonna register for that one. I'm gonna register for the voice. I'm gonna register for America's Got Talent. And just shoot my shot at all of them.
Oh, okay. So Eric, he has a couple of CDs out, but I know that he has a new CD coming out. And tell us the story behind that CD, the Hide Me CD, and
Yeah.
when is
What?
it coming
Yeah.
out?
What was your inspiration for doing
So
this?
the actual CD is called the actual album is called The Beginning. Now the single Hide Me that they're here today, that came that came at a very interesting time, and it was crazy how it happened. So my aunt had passed away at the beginning at sometime this month, and I needed one last song on the album. When I seen that she died, it was a lot of pain that I felt inside. And people know that music is the way I express my pain instead of talking about it. So it was like I had just had a conversation with her, and she was telling me, baby, I can't wait until your CD come out so I can get it. So it was like a lot of pain. It was like I didn't know how to deal with it. So to me, I was telling God to hide me from the pain, but not just me, because I have family that felt the same way that I felt. They wasn't ready for it to
Mhm.
go. And but one thing I do know is that when I tell God to hide me from the pain that I feel inside, it's just it's a way that we shelter ourselves from the real world.
Hmm. So tonight we're gonna hear a little. We're gonna hear that song "Hide Me."
Yes,
Correct.
yes. So the
Okay.
the video for that song drops on September 1st, and the single "Hide Me" drops on all digital platforms on September 1st.
Awesome. So let's hear. We'll go into that song.
said, Father, heal me when I'm broken. Hold me when I'm lonely. Hide me from the rain. Father, heal me when I'm broken. Hold me when I'm lonely. Hide me from the rain. I feel Jesus, guide me down the right path. Lead me through the valley. Hide me from the rain. I feel inside. Oh no, the pain I feel inside. My mind, the pain inside my mind.
I'm going down.
All right, man. How did y'all like that?
Woo!
Yeah. How did y'all like
Beautiful
that?
song, beautiful song.
You know. Hey, we were talking off the air, and we talked about the inspiration on how you wrote that. Everybody has a Sadie song, or the Boys to Men had Mama song,
Mhm.
that they were dedicating to their mother. And so some of the greatest songs that go down in history are songs that are dedicated to those who they love. It's not the generic baby, I want you, but it has to do with real life. And so that's one of the songs that's real touching. And I remember, a moment in our camp. People don't know that you assisted us in our summer camp. We had a young guy that was he was in the back of our class. He was terrorizing it every day. And so one day I kept him after class and I asked him, why he was acting the way he was acting. And so we have a class where we try to build entrepreneurs. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you want to do? He said, I want to be a rapper. And of course, when you say that, he says that when he would tell his family that, they would look at him like, you know, get your education, go, So I told him, I said, I said, are you any good? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, okay. And I called Eric and I said, hey, I have a young man down here. I said, I want you to come here and talk to him. I said, because he wants to be a rapper. So Eric came and I set up the class for him and I had some of the other students there. He was telling them about his journey. The same thing he's talking about now. He was telling them about his journey and how he became an artist and what was the most important things in life, you know. So I didn't tell the young boy that I was going to get Eric to help him. So Eric brought 3 beats to the next class that we had. And I called him out of class and we met with him properly. He said, I'm going to put 3 beats out here. And he let him listen to them. He had his earphones on. He said, man, I like that. And so I told him, I said, hey, Eric's going to give it to you, but he's going to hold the publishing rights on it. Eric said, no, I'll give it to him. And I just sat back. He said, yeah, let him have it.
Mm-hmm.
And we set up one of the classrooms like a studio. And that young boy went through there and he could rap pretty good. And so he impressed Eric so much. Eric said, you know what? I'm gonna take this man. I'm gonna do the voiceover for him. I'm gonna sing on it for him. And that young boy, he performed.
Was so happy.
His head was this big, and he performed it at the last event we had at that summer camp in front of all the parents, and stuff. And I know he remembers that,
Mm-hmm.
So Eric, he's a giving. That's what attracted us to him because he's a giving individual.
Yes, good, kind spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you gave something to that boy, it gave him a boost of confidence. And I sat him down after his performance. I said, I didn't give you that to make you a rapper. I said, I gave you that for a stepping stone.
So, Eric, tell them where they can get your music from when your album drop. What date is dropping again and the title?
So the single Hide Me is dropping September 1st. You can get it from iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, on all digital streaming sites. The album, The Beginning, is going to drop on November 25th, and it'll also be on all digital sites.
Okay. So, Curtis.
I'm here.
Had to bring him. He's out there spraying mosquitoes.
That's
Oh, yeah,
watching.
good now.
Get away, get away. We're trying not to catch what, malaria? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, get away. That's why he needs to be in the house, wiping his head down. He's sweating out there.
I'm good. The sun done went down now. Better.
That's what you need.
Texas.
Hey, tell them how they can get in touch with you, because I know that even though we may not have the weather right now, we have the questions.
Oh yeah, and I have a lot of what I do when people call me. I try to find out what they're dealing with, and I try to help them. Sometimes it's information. Sometimes it's actually me getting involved, and if it's too much to tell them, I got to do it.
I know it is. Yeah.
But if I can tell you a few things to help you along the way, that'll be great to just make sure you come out okay. But they can go to our website at www.hireyourownadjuster.com. I think I don't know if you put that up on the screen here, but it's spelled out hireyourownadjuster.com. Or they can call me at 214-543-9440. That's my direct cell number. And I'll say that again, 214-543-9440. And we're easy to find. We're in Mesquite. We got excellent references, been doing this a long time. We're excited about where we are and what we're doing and helping people.
Oh, but you also licensed to go elsewhere besides Texas, right?
Yeah, licensed Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, anywhere. Texas license allows us assistance to a lot of states. And so we're able to do that as needed. You know what I mean? Some states like California and Florida, we got to retest and stuff like that, but it's not a problem at all. We can do that if we need to.
Okay. Right. And Eric, so like you said, you're going to be going out and stuff, but you do perform locally, right?
Yeah. I perform anywhere anybody asks me to perform.
Want them to get in touch with you to perform, how they get in touch with you for that?
So you can email me at Eric, ERIC, Dixon, DIXON 0215 @gmail.com. Or you can book me on Facebook, or you can call me at 682-802-4877.
Awesome.
Okay. And just another tip for Curtis, like I said, I use the analogy about going to court. I said, now you want to go to court and get a court-appointed attorney, you want to have yours.
That's like an independent adjuster.
That's right. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. So I just can't overstate how much you helped us.
You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity of helping you guys. You guys are y'all listened to me, and you understood it. You knew you needed some help. It was bigger than you, and you needed somebody to make sure that you didn't miss anything. And we offered that to you. And I remember you said in front of your house, and you said something like, Curtis, now you better take care of me, man, or something like that. I said, I got you, man. I'm telling you, I got you. And
I told him, I say CNN is coming here.
He said if not,
I say
he was gonna be on you. What he said?
I said, if you screw me, I'm gonna put you on blast on CNN.
I know it. I remember that. I'm not worried about that. Just give me the shot.
And I wasn't gonna put you on nothing. I was gonna give you a 1-2. Take our money.
Yeah, I had to do the right thing. And you guys also referred us to a lot of neighbors and relatives and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was a awesome opportunity to work with you guys. And thank y'all for having me on the show.
Oh, yeah.
But Eric, I love you and I love your music. And, it's like music for the soul. And I just wish you the best of luck. And you always welcome to come on anytime when you got music you want to promote.
And the other thing, we didn't have time, but we didn't get around to telling about you a businessman. Also,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're juggling a business and a career.
Trying to sing, not trying to
awesome.
and sing.
Yeah. And at his age.
Oh, you can tell me your business. This is our network. As a matter of fact, with that being said, before you say that, tomorrow at 9 a.m., the Better Have Network will be launching.
Awesome.
We'll be launching. So if you guys know any that is interested in doing their own show, they can get in touch with us.
All right.
At
make it happen.
Carol2barnes@gmail.com. And also they can call us at 972-454-0231. Yes.
Better Have Network.
Here, guys, enjoy the music, man. Great job.
She wasn't ready for that.
Because I was going to say something I was going to say.
Yeah, but Better Have Network is dropping tomorrow, and it's because we've been, in contact with a lot of good people.
Yes.
Even from our beginning to where we are now. And you two really have shared our journey.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And,
that's why we had you on, because you two have really shared our journey and made things happen for us. Y'all really invested in us, because the house we're sitting in, is a result of you helping us, and then even our opening music, is
Eric.
done by Eric.
Mhm.
So
Oh, that's right. Our
Yeah.
theme song is produced by Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote that for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
me and Eric sound like me and Eric need our own show.
yeah,
Yeah, y'all do. And Eric, tell me about your business that you do on the side besides your singing.
So I own a landscaping company in DFW. It's called Dixon's Landscaping. And we go out and we mow grass. We get you looking right for the low price. They don't charge you the high price, but we get you looking like you paid the high price.
And he did a good job because he came cut out grass too. We like sharing and helping and promoting Black-owned business. So
Yeah, he's in high demand. He's very, very busy.
yeah, very busy.
Yeah, so
I'm glad. Hey, that's what I always say. We knew you before you became big, so don't forget us.
I never had. I like family.
Exactly.
yeah, but like I said, one of our missions, and God has blessed us to bless others. So that's the first time we hear about a storm, Curtis comes into our mind.
Mm-hmm.
The moment we hear about music, Eric comes into our mind. So we just want to thank you all, and we just hope that our audience, our public audience, has learned something, especially about private adjusters and public adjusters. But and I just hope that they learn something, and they can contact you all and give you the business that you deserve. And God bless you all.
And don't forget, our network, Better Half Network, will be lunching in the morning at 9 a.m. So if you got a story you want to share, or you got a show you want to have, call us 972-454-0231.
Mm-hmm. Even if you want to do a commercial,
Yeah.
we have spots open for that also.
Yeah, and we have bloopers.
So. You saw it.
No, I can't imagine
You
that.
saw it. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of.
We do it all.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
We
of
do it all. And you know what? Come September the 10th, we do summer camps for kids, and we didn't know how we were going to do it. So we had to pivot like everybody else. We had to go to Zoom with everybody else, and we did our camp. But on September the 10th, we're going to let everyone see what we did with the kids. So you guys out there listening to us, we're going to have a Zoom, and you're invited. I'll send a link out to you if you want it. And come and check out what our kids did, and Tora helped us do this.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
you're gonna be amazed.
Yeah.
What we
Smart
did,
kids.
what we did within a month, you're gonna be amazed.
Yeah. When it used to take us 2 months.
You're gonna be amazed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay woke. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you guys for gracing us with your presence.
Subscribe.
So hit that button, subscribe, and like us on Facebook and on YouTube. With that being said, we'll see you next Tuesday. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Ooh, ice cold. Freeze pop.